The universe has a heartbeat. In the glittering cores of civilized galaxies, it pulses with the soft hum of starship drives and data streams. But in the lawless, rust-stained fringe of the Andromeda's trailing arm, the heartbeat is different. It is a drumbeat. A deep, resonant, visceral tum that shakes the grime from corroded metal rafters and stirs the blood in a million alien veins. This is the Crucible. Not a planet, but a constructed reality, a titanic hollowed-out asteroid the size of a moon, drifting in the black. Its surface is pockmarked with docking spines, perpetually clogged with vessels from 1,000 species, sleek mercenary cutters, bulky Hrothgarian trade barks, leaking pirate scows. They all come for one thing: the arena. Within the Crucible's core lies a colossal, tiered amphitheater. Here, under the blistering glare of simulated solar arcs, the galaxy's greatest warriors fight. Not for glory in some noble sense. The Crucible scoffs at nobility. They fight for credits, for status, for survival, and for the adoration of the most ravenous, diverse audience in known space. The rules are simple, echoing in the hollow of antiquity. 2 beings enter the sandy ring. 1 leaves. Weapons are permitted. Armor is permitted. Biological modifications, cybernetics, controlled psionics, all permitted. There are only 2 true rules: no ranged energy weapons that might harm the audience, and the fight only ends in death or undeniable submission. The latter is so rare it is a myth. And presiding over this carnage, its undisputed master, its living god for 7 standard cycles, is Korvax the Unbroken. See him now, in his sanctum deep within the arena's bowels. The air smells of ozone, hydraulics, and old blood. Korvax is a Velt. From a high-gravity world of crystalline mountains and howling winds, his species evolved a biology of stunning density. He stands 8 feet tall, his skin not flesh, but a flexible layered matrix of keratinous plating, the color of basalt and bronze. His face is a formidable wedge, for deep-set eyes arranged in a diamond, burning with a cold amber light. No mouth is visible. Velt communicate through subsonic pulses generated in their chest cavities, a sound that feels like stone grinding on stone. His arms are thicker than a human torso, ending in 3-fingered hands that can crush refined steel. Across his chest, a history written in scars shines under the lights, each one a failed challenge. He is polishing a weapon, not a laser sword or a plasmacaster, but a simple brutal thing, a massive gravmaul. A shaft of dark iron, topped with a power field generator that, when activated, multiplies the force of its impact 100-fold. It can turn a tank into scrap. It has turned many living beings into paste. A holographic display flickers before him, showing his next opponent. A rotating image of a strange, soft-looking biped. Pinkish skin, sparse fur on its head, 2 forward-facing eyes. Fragile-looking limbs, no natural armor. The data script scrolls. Species: Terran. Homo sapiens. Origin: Sol 3. Standard gravity: Type 1 atmosphere. Designation: prisoner transfer. Debtor species. Voluntary contract. Combat rating: minimal. Low density, modest strength, negligible natural weaponry. Psychological profile indicates high pain tolerance and pack bonding instincts, irrelevant in solo combat. Recommended action: quick dispatch. Visceral. Good for crowd energy. Korvax dismisses the display. The subsonic rumble from his chest vibrates the tools on a nearby table. His handler, a slick, multi-limbed gelt named Slick, translates the vibration into galactic common. Another soft thing from a soft world, Korvax's voice echoes in the room. They send their weaklings here hoping for a miracle. They find only the inevitable. Slick, polishing a data slate, chitters. The syndicate likes it. The plucky underdog narrative moves betting lines. Odds are currently 98-2 in your favor. Some are betting on how many seconds it will last. Korvax hefts the gravmaul, feeling its perfect, deadly balance. Mercy is a defect, he rumbles. A failure to understand the universe. The strong prevail. The weak become memory. This is the only truth the Crucible teaches. I am its prophet. He has spoken this truth for 7 years. He has lived it. He believes it, in every atom of his dense being. Across the Crucible, in the grimy, dripping holding cells reserved for debtor fighters, the human waits. His name is Elias. Captain Elias Rook, of the freighter Starwood Hope. He is not a warrior. He is, or was, an engineer. A transporter of agricultural machinery and medical supplies to fledgling colony worlds. His story is a common tragic stitch in the fabric of the Fringe. A predatory loan from a galactic syndicate for a new engine, a navigational error into a contested system leading to confiscatory fines, and the sudden crushing weight of a debt he could never pay. The syndicate's offer was the arena, a 5-fight contract. Serve, and the debt is cleared. Most debtors don't survive the first fight. Elias sits on a stone bench, his knees drawn up. He is 40 standard years, his brown hair streaked with gray, his face lined more with worry than age. His body is lean, the build of a man who works with his hands, not one who trains for war. He wears a standard issue, padded combat suit, thin and offering little more than moral support. He is afraid. A deep, shaking cold that sits in his gut. He's seen the broadcasts. He's seen Korvax fight. He's seen what the Gravmaul does to living tissue. He closes his eyes, and instead of the roaring crowd, he tries to hear the sound of rain on the hull of his ship. He tries to smell the earthy scent of hydroponic greens, the warm aroma of coffee brewing in his tiny galley. The memory of his home, a small terraformed moon called Viridia, with its 2 sunsets and fields of blue grass. He thinks of his crew, safely dismissed before his indenture. He thinks of the young Hrothgarian engineer, Griv, who called him Captain Friend. He promised Griv he'd see him again. A promise made in the desperate dark, now facing the blinding, brutal light of the arena. A guard, a hulking reptilian cruel, bangs on the energy bar door. Up, soft meat. Your audience awaits. Try to run, makes no difference. The unbroken likes moving. Targets. Elias stands. His hands are steady. That surprises him. It's the same focus that takes over when a plasma conduit is rupturing, when the O2 scrubbers are failing. The problem-solving part of his mind, the engineer, pushes the terror aside. The problem is impossible. Survive a force of nature. But you don't survive a hurricane by fighting the wind. You find shelter. You endure. He has no weapons. He requested a toolkit. The guards laughed. He has only his hands, his mind, and a desperate human refusal to become just another red stain on the sand for the entertainment of strangers. The journey to the arena floor is a descent into sensory hell. The roar of the crowd is a physical thing, a wall of heat and sound that hits Elias as the gates rumble open. The air is thick with the smells of alien sweat, spicy chemicals, and charged ozone. The light is blinding, focused on the vast circle of blood-stained sand. The amphitheater is a living mosaic of nightmares and wonders. Tentacled veil merchants float in private boxes, their eye stalks twitching with interest. Hulking brute drolls from the methane worlds beat their chest plates in a thunderous rhythm. Swarms of tiny insectoid click record everything on crystalline eyes. Millions of them, all here to see him die. And across the 300-foot expanse of sand, standing utterly still, is Korvax. Up close, he is a monument to violence. The arena lights gleam on his obsidian plating. The Gravmaul rests on his shoulder, inactive, yet still radiating a terrifying promise. His 4 amber eyes fix on Elias, not with hatred, but with the dispassionate focus of a sculptor viewing a block of marble. The announcer's voice, amplified and translated into 100 tongues, booms across the stadium. Citizens of the Crucible, you know the law. The sands demand a sacrifice. On one side, the living legend, the mountain that walks, the undisputed master of the arena for 7 cycles. Korvax the Unbroken. The roar is deafening, a quake of adoration. And his challenger. A species so new, so soft, they barely register on the galactic stage. A debtor from a backwater world. A Terran. Elias. The hopeless. The laughter is even louder. Projected odds flash across massive holograms, 99.7% to 0.3%. Bets on kill method, Gravmaul crush, overwhelming favorite. Elias walks to the center mark, his heart hammering against his ribs. The sand is coarse under his boots. Korvax takes 3 ground-shaking steps forward. His subsonic voice is picked up by the arena sensors and broadcast. You should not have come. Here, soft one. Your death will be without meaning. But it will be quick. That is the only grace I offer. Elias says nothing. He just watches. He studies the Velt's stance, the way he holds the maul, the slight pivot of his feet. He looks for anything. A gong sounds, deep and final. Korvax does not charge. He advances, a slow, inevitable tectonic shift. He sees no need for haste. The human's fear scent is palpable, his posture defensive. This is not a fight, it is a conclusion waiting to happen. Elias backpedals, keeping distance. The crowd jeers, throwing food and holographic chits. "Run, little mammal. Run!" shrieks a voice. Korvax activates the grav maul. A low, ominous thrum joins the crowd's noise, and the air around the weapon's head shimmers with distorted gravity. He swings it in a slow, practice arc. The displaced air whooshes like a passing shuttle. Elias's mind races. The weapon is slow to swing. Massive inertia. He follows through. Recovery time, maybe 2 seconds. But the effective range of that field is unknown. Can't get close. Korvax tires of the chase. With a surprising burst of speed for his mass, he closes the gap. The maul comes down in a vertical arc meant to bisect Elias from crown to pelvis. It's not a fancy move. It is a simple, efficient application of overwhelming force. Elias throws himself to the side, rolling through the sand. The maul strikes the ground where he stood. Oh. Sand is not just kicked up, it is vitrified into a glassy crater a meter wide. The shockwave knocks Elias tumbling, his ears ringing. The crowd erupts. First blood. Almost. Elias scrambles up, sand in his mouth, his side aching from the impact. Korvax wrenches the maul free from the fused ground with a grating screech. The amber eyes gleam. Agility. A minor delay. The next 10 minutes are a brutal ballet of survival. Korvax is methodical, herding Elias around the ring with sweeping, crater-creating blows. Elias dodges, dives, and rolls. He uses the uneven terrain of previous impacts to his advantage, slipping behind newly formed glassy ridges. He is not fighting Korvax. He is fighting the arena itself, using every inch of it to postpone the inevitable. But he is tiring. His human muscles burn, his lungs scream in the thin, processed air. A glancing blow from the edge of the grav field catches his shoulder as he dives away. It doesn't even touch him, but the distorted gravity twists. He feels a sickening pop, and a white-hot fire blooms in his joint. Dislocated. Probably torn ligaments. He cries out, staggering, clutching his arm. Korvax halts. The crowd falls silent, anticipating the finale. This is the moment they crave. The Velt looks at the wounded human, hunched over, defenseless. He deactivates the grav maul. The thrumming ceases. The sudden quiet is profound. "You have fought your death well for a soft thing," Korvax rumbles, his voice carrying. "You have shown more spirit than most. I will honor that spirit. I will make it quick. Come. Meet your end standing." It is a moment of something. Not mercy, but a warrior's respect for a game prey. In the Velt's code, it is the highest honor he can give. Elias pants, sweat and sand sticking to his face. Pain is a nova in his shoulder. He looks up at the towering champion, at the expectant, hungry faces in the stands. This is it. The designed end. But as he looks into Korvax's 4 amber eyes, he doesn't see a monster. He sees a being locked in a cycle, a prisoner of the very arena he rules. A product of a brutal, unforgiving system. And Elias feels, amidst the terror and pain, a surge of something else. Something profoundly, foolishly human. It's not the will to fight. It's the refusal to participate. He straightens, as best he can. He lets his injured arm hang, but he stands tall. He speaks, his voice raw but clear, picked up by the arena's sensitive mics. No. The single syllable, in galactic common, echoes in the stunned silence. Korvax tilts his head. No. "I won't come to you," Elias says, his voice gaining strength. "And you won't get the kill you want. Not like this." A murmur ripples through the crowd. Confusion. Is this a trick? "You offer a quick death as an honor," Elias continues, locking eyes with the champion. "But there's no honor in this. For you or for me. This is just machinery. You're just a cog in it. The strongest cog, but a cog all the same. I didn't come here to feed the machine. Korvax feels a strange, unfamiliar irritation. This is not how it goes. The prey accepts its fate with silence or screams. It does not philosophize. You speak nonsense. The strong break the weak. This is the law of all things. Is it? Elias asks, taking a painful step forward, not in attack, but in conversation. On my world, strength isn't just about what you can break. It's about what you can build. What you can endure. What you can forgive. The word hangs in the air. Forgive. It translates, but its full meaning, its cultural weight, is alien to most of the audience. To Korvax, it is meaningless. A defect. Your world is weak, Korvax states, reactivating them all. The thrum returns, aggressive. And its lessons die with you. He raises the maul for the final, cinematic blow. Elias doesn't dodge. He stands there, looking up at the weapon of his destruction. But his gaze is not on the maul. It's on Korvax's massive forearm, now raised high. There, amidst the bronze and basalt plating, is a fissure. A deep, hairline crack, almost invisible, running from the edge of a larger, older scar. Sand and grime are packed into it. The sign of a structural flaw, a microfracture from countless impacts, now stressed to its limit. The engineer's mind, even at the end, analyzes. Stress point.
Lateral viacnis.
The joint articulation above it. But the human's heart speaks first. As the maul reaches its apex, Elias shouts, not in fear, but in a clear, urgent voice. Your left radius is fractured. The stress from the maul's recoil will snap it on the next full-power impact. Korvax freezes. The maul hesitates at its zenith. The crowd holds its breath. What trick is this? The Velt's amber eyes flicker, just for a nanosecond, to his own forearm. He sees it. The crack he had dismissed, had ignored. The human from 20 feet away, in the chaos of combat, had seen it too. And instead of targeting it, instead of using that knowledge to try a futile attack, he was warning him. You seek to distract, Korvax rumbles, but the certainty is gone from his subsonic tone. I'm an engineer, Elias says, his voice weary but firm. I see how things are built. And how they break. That fracture runs deep. If it goes, the neural bundle underneath gets shredded. You'll lose function in that hand. Permanently. In here, a one-handed champion is a dead champion. The truth of it lands on Korvax like a physical blow. He knows the syndicate. He knows the young, hungry challengers waiting. He sees with sudden, terrifying clarity the precipice he's been walking on. His invincibility has had a flaw all along. And this soft, broken creature he was about to erase saw it, and chose to tell him. Why? The question echoes in Korvax's mind, more disorienting than any blow. Why give an enemy an advantage? Why show mercy when you have none to give? He lowers the maul, deactivating it again. The silence is absolute, a living entity. Why tell me this? The champion's voice is quieter, a rough grind of stone. Elias sways, the pain and exhaustion crashing down. Because you didn't have to offer a quick end. You could have drawn it out. For the crowd. You didn't. He takes a ragged breath. And because, down here in this hole, we're all just prisoners. I don't need to make another one. Not even you. He then does something that will be replayed across the galaxy for cycles to come. He turns his back on Korvax the Unbroken. He turns his back on the entire baying galaxy, and he takes a limping, agonizing step toward the gate he entered from. He is walking away from the fight. Offering not his life, but his refusal. The crowd is utterly confused. Is it a surrender? But he didn't submit. He just stopped. Korvax watches the humans retreating back. The frail, stubborn, bleeding figure walking towards certain death from the syndicate guards for violating the fight's conclusion. He sees the dislocated shoulder, the sand clinging to his bloodied suit. He sees a strength that has nothing to do with dense plating or gravitational weapons. It is a strength that chooses to see an enemy as a person. A strength that offers a warning instead of seeking a wound. A strength that walks away from the game, even knowing the game will kill you for it. It is absolute, terrifying weakness by the laws of the Crucible. And by some deeper, older, forgotten law, it is the most powerful thing Korvax has ever witnessed. The Syndicate enforcers, hulking cruel in powered armor, step onto the sand at the far gate, block Elias's path. Their plasma cutters hum to life. The crowd finds its voice again, not in cheers for a kill, but in angry, confused shouts. Finish it. Kill the coward. Korvax moves. He doesn't run. He simply strides, his footsteps thunderous in the new silence. He passes Elias, who stops, watching him, confused. The champion walks up to the 3 Syndicate enforcers. They are big, but he is a mountain. The fight, Korvax's voice booms, is not concluded. The lead enforcer gestures with his cutter. The human disengaged. He forfeits. Stand aside, champion. The Syndicate will handle its property. Korvax looks from the enforcer, to the confused, angry crowd, to the Syndicate's opulent viewing box high above. He looks down at the human, who meets his gaze with quiet, exhausted resolve. In that moment, Korvax the Unbroken makes a choice. Not out of logic, not out of strategy, but out of something that has been awakened in him for the first time. A flaw. A defect. Mercy. He turns to face the entire crucible. The human has not yielded. He has not fallen. He has changed the terms. His voice shakes the stadium. He saw my weakness, and he spared me. He offered me a truth that could save my life. What warrior here can claim to have been shown such strength? The crowd is dead silent. The concept is too alien, too vast to process. Korvax raises his massive hand and points at the Syndicate box. By the old law, the law of single combat, the fight continues until one combatant declares it finished. I declare it finished. Gasps ripple through the arena. A champion, conceding? Not even a draw, but a cessation? The human, Korvax grinds out, the words foreign and heavy on his tongue, has shown a strength the Crucible does not understand. A strength beyond breaking. I will not be the one to break it. His debt, he looks at the Syndicate box, his gaze challenging, is paid. In full. By my word. Chaos. Uproar. The Syndicate bosses are on their feet, gesticulating furiously. But they are trapped by their own spectacle. The champion, the heart of their profits, has spoken on live broadcast to the entire fringe. To go against him now would shatter the illusion. The crowd's confusion is turning slowly into something else. Fascination. Oh. They came to see a physical wonder, and they have witnessed a moral one. Korvax ignores them all. He turns back to Elias, who is swaying on his feet, incomprehension etched on his face. The Velt kneels. The act of a giant genuflecting before a wounded sparrow. He reaches out one massive, 3-fingered hand, not to strike, but to offer. Your shoulder, Korvax rumbles, his voice now only for Elias. It requires relocation. I have seen many injuries. May I? Elias, after a long moment, gives a slight, pained nod. With a gentleness that seems impossible for such a being, Korvax takes Elias's arm. A quick, precise pull and shift. Pop. The fire in Elias's shoulder subsides to a deep, manageable ache. Thank you, Elias whispers. Korvax stands, looming over him once more, but the threat is gone. Do not thank me. You have infected me with an idea. I do not know if it is a sickness or a cure. He looks at his own fractured arm. You saw my breaking point, and you chose to mend, not to shatter. What kind of species does that? Elias manages a faint smile, a stubborn one. The fallout is immense. The Syndicate is furious but impotent. The story, however, is already escaping the Crucible. The champion's mercy. The day the Unbroken yielded. The human who fought with words. Elias Rook is released, his debt voided. He is given passage off the Crucible on a neutral freighter. As he walks through the dank corridors to the docking bay, beings of all species stop and stare. Not with contempt, but with a bewildered respect. They don't understand him, but they know they have witnessed something that has altered the gravity of their world. In his sanctum, Korvax sits before his deactivated gravmaul. He has refused his next 3 fights. The Syndicate is threatening, but he is still the champion. For now. His handler, Slick, enters, chittering nervously. The odds makers are in chaos. The narrative teams are crafting a dozen new storylines: redemption, corruption, mystery. What do we tell them? Korvax stares at his reflection in the polished metal of the Maul's head. He sees the crack in his arm. He sees the being he was for 7 cycles. Tell them, he rumbles, that the unbroken is broken. Buy an idea. What idea? That mercy is not a defect. The words feel true as he says them. It is a weapon the strong fear to wield. And a strength the weak. No, not the weak. A strength that humans carry within their fragile forms. Tell them the arena has a new lesson. The hardest one to learn. On the freighter, Elias stands at a viewing port as the crucible shrinks into an ugly speck against the starfield. He is bruised, battered, but whole. He is free. He thinks of Korvax, the mountain of a being brought low not by a greater force, but by a simple act of compassion. He wonders what will become of him. He hopes, somehow, that the champion finds his own way out of the arena. Weeks later, on a quiet trade station, Elias is repairing a malfunctioning air recycler for a grateful shopkeeper. A news bulletin plays on a public terminal. And in a stunning development from the Crucible, former arena champion Korvax has purchased his own contract from the syndicate. The sum, reportedly all his winnings, is historic. In a brief statement, the former champion announced he is departing for the Galactic Rim, seeking, and we quote, a different kind of strength. The syndicate has named a new champion, but ratings, analysts say, are not the same. The galaxy seems curious about what it witnessed. Elias smiles, a small private thing. He finishes his work, accepts his payment, a hot meal and some spare parts. As he sits in a small cantina, listening to the hum of normal peaceful life, a tall, cloaked figure enters. The figure moves with a familiar, ground-shaking weight. It approaches his table and sits opposite him. The hood is lowered. 4 amber eyes meet his. Korvax is out of his armor, wearing simple, heavy travel gear. The Gravmaul is nowhere to be seen. They sit in silence for a moment. I did not know where else to go, Korvax says, his subsonic voice soft. The idea you planted, it grew. It broke the walls of my arena. Elias nods. What will you do now? I do not know. I only know I cannot go back to breaking things. He looks at his hands, the tools of a lifetime of violence. You build things. You mend. Can such a thing be learned? Elias thinks of his ship, the Starwood Hope, waiting for him at a nearby dock. He thinks of the empty engineer's berth. It can, Elias says. It's hard work. It's slow. It's frustrating. You'll make mistakes. Korvax considers this. Is there a place on your vessel? For one who wishes to learn not to break. Elias extends his hand, his healed, functional hand, across the table. A human gesture. An offer of peace, of partnership. After a moment, Korvax reaches out, his massive, 3-fingered hand enveloping Elias's with infinite care. Welcome aboard, says the human. And for the first time, the galaxy understood what it truly meant to be human. It was not in the victory, not in the domination, not in the unbreakable will. It was in the courage to be merciful. It was in the strength to offer a hand, even to the one holding the weapon. It was in the stubborn, beautiful, illogical belief that no one, not even an arena champion, is beyond redemption. That sometimes, the most powerful force in the universe is not a Gravmaul, but a single act of grace, echoing in the silence after the drumbeat stops.